I'm Helen Ubiñas, a columnist with the Philadelphia Inquirer. What are you going to do if the candidate that you support doesn't win in the upcoming election? I asked a bunch of Philadelphians about how they're going to deal with their emotions of despair and disappointment and even grief.
I'm really intentional about creating pockets of happiness for myself.
Would it be inappropriate for me to take a sip?
No, please,
Okay,
go for it.
At the very least, we'll know where to turn to for support in this city. And if you have any ideas about how to cope, please let me know.
I think regardless of who is president, we all should be really mindful about creating these small moments of joy for ourselves. So that could be taking 15 to 30 minutes of riding your bike, taking a walk, taking a nap, connecting with your favorite, person. But I think you have to really know what brings you happiness, and you have to be really committed to contributing to that happiness.
So I've been going around Philadelphia asking people about ways to cope after the election. And I wanted to talk to you on several levels because you're a therapist, but also because you're a founder of a group specifically for Black female bicyclists. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, first as a therapist, what ways can you offer folks who are feeling a certain type of way after the election in terms of coping?
I would say to feel all of your feelings. This election brings about so many feelings for people, whether it's anxiety, whether it's disappointment or frustration, but feel all of your feelings and to let them radicalize you to the life that you want to live.
One of the ways that I work through my feelings is through books and reading. And so I wanted to come here and talk to you a little bit about sort of the power of books during a time like this.
Yeah, books are really powerful coping mechanisms. I think nonfiction is great to learn from scholars and activists and learn from history to help us in the future. And then I think even fiction books can be really great. Sometimes it's nice to get lost in a book of fiction, but when it still has themes that are really relevant and powerful and speak to the present situation, there's a lot to learn from those as well.
Yeah, it's escapism, but also being empowered. So they sort of serve both things. So I asked you to sort of maybe pull a couple books that you might recommend if people are sort of trying to work through a lot of the feelings that they're going to have after the election.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about the ones that you've pulled?
Yeah, so my top recommendation is Puerto Rico, A National History. This book was already on my list of recommendations, but especially now after the recent comments that have been in the news, I think it's incredibly important for everyone to know more about the history of Puerto Rico, about its current status as a colony of the United States. This book is a great place to start. We have a lot of other books on this topic as well. It's available in Spanish also, and the English version has, when you take off the jacket, has the most beautiful cover that I personally have ever seen in my life. I think it's gorgeous. My next pick is Defectors, The Rise of the Latino Far Right and What It Means for America by Paula Ramos. This book just came out very recently, and it tells the stories of individuals and communities to help explain the recent political trends and shifts that we've seen. And I think this book could be really helpful for a lot of people, maybe to understand even their own friends and family members. And it is available in Spanish as well. The last book is Libertad by Bessie Flores Alvivar. This is actually my favorite book that I've read this year. It takes place during the 2017 presidential election in Honduras, and it addresses the tension and anxiety leading up to the election, the aftermath of the results, and also how to navigate having different political views within a family. It's also a queer coming-of-age story. It depicts really endearing sibling relationships, and it is beautifully written. It's only available in English at the moment, and it's a YA novel, but I would highly recommend it to adults as well. And I think this is a great example of a work of fiction that's still really relevant and powerful, and it's great to get a perspective from outside of the United States as well.
All right, say no more, sold. I'm here because I think a lot of people need some spiritual, even religious guidance. And I want to talk to you about sort of how we can care for our spiritual beings, our souls.
Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and people are going to be in their feelings about it. There may be great mourning and lament in this place in less than 10 days. Or there may be cause for people to come and have, jubilant celebration. We don't really know. But that's the kind of the role that faith plays. That, we have this hymn that we sing, many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, I don't borrow from the sunshine, da 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 da. But it ends with what I do know is who holds tomorrow. and I'll hold God's hand. And so regardless of the outcome on Wednesday, November the 6th, in my world, God is still God. And that means then if we got to fight more, we just have to turn it up. If we can celebrate, then we'll pause and celebrate. But even in celebration, realizing that that's not the end, that's just the beginning of the next chapter.
For me personally, I think stories are just really important always. I think it's just a great thing that keeps you going, and to me it's what makes us human really. So I think engaging with stories and storytelling is a really good way to kind of just center yourself and come back into like being a person if you're feeling overwhelmed. So one that I thought that would be important for us to have in this list is divide here. It's exploring the like urban-rural divide that's kind of, I would say, a big part of the upcoming election. And so as much as reading as a coping mechanism can be escapism, I think that like active engagement can also be a form of coping. We also thought just like deep emotional engagement is also a thing people are going to want and do. And so Ada Limon is one of my personal favorite poets. I believe she's still the poet laureate. If not, she has been for a few years. And we set aside the carrying because that one is about the things that stay with us and the things that we keep, which I think are two different things that she explores pretty well.
Two ounces of the Pathfinder. Blend that all up, get it nice and fluffy, and then just pour it.
So the reason I came here today to see you is because, you know, I think that bartenders are the original therapists, and I think we're gonna all need a little, you know, a little therapy, depending on what happens, regardless of what happens. So I came here, and you were kind enough to whip up a couple of post-election drinks.
Yeah. I'm very well trained in this stuff, not so much trained as a therapist, so don't take what I say as actual advice. I can't be held responsible, okay?
I gotcha. Yeah.
Especially after like one of these. These you can do whatever you want. These maybe not. A bar is a really beautiful gathering place for people from all walks of life who come to celebrate and also commiserate. The two that I settled on, I think, are kind of perfect for the moment and where we are. If you just fell out of a coconut tree, but maybe you're not drinking, this is a non-alcoholic pina colada. You get all of the tropical feel, the vibe, it's escapist. Like you can have a sip of this and feel like you're just not here for a little while. Right. It's fresh, it's fun, it's invigorating, and it's made with a really beautiful non-alcoholic spirit, the Pathfinder, which I love. So it gives you all of the vibes of having a cocktail, but if you're not drinking for whatever reason, sometimes you just want like a nice tasty treat, and then you have to go on with your day because you're still gonna wake up the next day. Mm-hmm. This is perfect. The other one is a freezer martini. One of my favorite things about this is you make it ahead of time. So you can make it when you're in a good place, and you're optimistic maybe, or you're planning for the worst. Right. I definitely recommend putting the glass in the freezer as well as the martini so everything's ready to go for you. Couple dashes of Patino's Pickle Barrel Bitters. This is 50-50 equal parts Blanco tequila and dry vermouth with a little bit of dilution, so it should be nice and silky. Like you'll see it when you pull it out, you can swirl it around and it has some girth to it. You know, you can have as much or as little as you want. If you just feel like you need a little shot to take the edge off, it's there for you. If you want a full cocktail, sit down, either celebrate or, you know, maybe have a sad cocktail about it. You can have that too, take as needed. And then this one I made purposefully a little bit savory and bitter, a little salty and bitter. And I added a pickled pepper just for a little bit of spice so you can feel alive.
I love it. We might need that reminder.
Yeah.
Would it be inappropriate for me to take a sip?
No, please,
okay,
go for it.
Okay, so let's see. This is where I'm going to close my eyes and go to the beach.
Yes, toes in the sand.
There you go. Work with me. Tell me where I am.
There's a jungle nearby.
Yes. Oh, I hear it. I hear it. I'm no longer here.
Exactly.
Where I am, everything's fine.
We're maybe. Yeah. I mean, we're also in Pennsylvania. It's a big state in contention right now. So maybe our neighbors lost it for us. Who knows?
You don't know.
So now we're not in Pennsylvania.
No,
we're
I'm not.
Else
wait.
completely.
My neighbors are gone.
Maybe,
Hold on.
Maybe you're in Puerto Rico.
Yes, it's beautiful here, by the way.
I don't see any garbage.
None at all. I love this. This is really tasty.
Right? It feels like a cocktail.
No, it feels like an actual, like, I'm having a drink.
It's
I'm
more than
feeling
just
nice.
it's more than just like a pineapple coconut smoothie.
No.
It's like, yeah.
It's fantastic. Also, it's very pretty.
It adds to the cocktail, I promise. It's not just for for funsies and drama.
This is like super tasty and fun, and you know, I think we need a lot of that, right? Even now, even
100%.
before, and definitely after.
Yeah.
But you are going to have people sitting on your stools here feeling a certain kind of way.
I mean, honestly, like, this country has been here for a couple hundred years. We as a people have been here, some of us longer than others, but no less important. But, you know, we've all been here as a community, and I think taking support or, like, taking solace and looking to your community to help you get through anything difficult, really, like, that's super important. And I think once we kind of value other, like, our neighbors and our friends and lift those people up in our lives, then we'll kind of see things grow and change for the better. Yeah. I think that's kind of what this whole, at the end of the day, that's what politics kind of should be about, is uplifting everyone around us and not tearing other people down and not, you know, sowing hatred or sadness or anger, any of those like negative, like we're all doing this life together, so we might as well have a drink and have a good time.
All right, well, I'll toast to that. I'm going to take this one.
All right, I have to work later, so cheers.